our positive experiences are just as important as our negative experiences, but our brain doesn't, stamp like I picture like when we're like opening mail and we're like sorting through things and we're like stamping things as urgent or important. It's like, oh, this is something good. It just goes over here and this is good pile. I don't need to do anything with it. But this is terrible news. I need to mark it as urgent and keep it over here and do something with it. Otherwise, something bad's going to happen. Hey, pod people. Welcome to this week's episode of
Why Do People Do That?
We are going to have some fun today. We figured with all of the craziness going on in the world, why not just have a little fun and not be so serious? And I feel like we have a challenge today. We want to prove to all of you people out there that we could be better than ChatGPT. Everyone likes to go on their little AI, whatever app they have, and just ask questions all the time. And so we're going to prove that people do it better.
Let's hope so.
Yes, of course we do. My God. So I have my cousin Jake here today.
Hi.
Hi, Jake.
Jake, you want to introduce yourself? Tell everybody what you do.
Sure. Name's Jake, obviously, and I am a pilot for an airline, and you've probably flown with us. And I'm currently in school getting my clinical social work degree in my master's.
Very
That's
exciting.
awesome.
So we have a social work student here. So Jake and I talk a lot. We're close, and Jake likes to watch our podcast.
Oh, you're the
which
one.
is exciting. We've got more than one follower. So anyway, Jake likes to watch our podcast and he takes it seriously and he really listens. You're right.
Yeah, great.
Do we need to pause?
No.
Okay. So, like he'll ask me questions about our topics and the things that we talk about. And we'll get into like deep conversation about lots of different things. So he's learning and he's going to be a great social worker one day, very soon.
That's awesome.
Hope so.
So Jake is here to ask us a bunch of questions and be a part of the conversation. And so since our podcast is Why Do People Do That? Jake is here with a whole list of why do people do that?
Ooh.
So we started our conversation like literally.
Oh, wow, that really is a list.
It's a huge list.
It's a good
Oh
one.
my God.
I mean, we're not going to get to all of these questions, but he's got a whole bunch just so that we have enough. And he's, I think, ordered them in the ones that he finds the most riveting.
Okay.
Right? But our whole conversation last night started with why do people have pet peeves? So I think that might be a good starting off point,
Sure.
right?
So,
Why do people have pet peeves?
yeah, why do people have pet peeves?
What's your pet peeve?
I wish you would. I have, I'm sure, a ton of them. The first thing that's coming to mind is I hate when people use the word moist.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Not a fan of the word moist.
What's your pet peeve?
Pen clicking. When people are just taking a test
Clicking.
in school and someone just click, 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 click,
Oh,
click,
I'm
click,
a clicker.
click. But if I'm clicking, I don't care.
Mm.
If someone else is clicking, it bothers me.
My pet peeve is I have a few, but the one that really stands out that bothers me the most is when somebody tries to correct me, like tell me I'm doing something wrong and that I need to like work on it, but they do it too.
Oh,
That drives me bananas. I think that
I could see
bothers me more than anything in the whole world. So why do people do that? Why do we have pet peeves? Any thoughts?
I'm sure there's some deep-seated history and some kind of wronging or something in our upbringing that will kind of lead us to being bothered by certain things.
Yep. Any
guess-
thoughts?
I guess my immediate thought it would be, as a child, if I was, say, pen clicking, I could probably hear one of my parents yelling at me to stop pen clicking.
Did you pen click?
Yeah.
Okay.
And-
So there it is.
But I still pen click, but I don't like it when other people do.
Right. So what's happening is when you're pen clicking, you're probably not as aware that you're doing it. But when somebody else is doing it, you're probably more aware of it because it's like interfering in whatever you're trying to focus on. So what happened for you, right? To go back to what Heather was saying about, history and childhood, the reason we have pet peeves mostly, and there's lots of different reasons why, but the number one reason, I think it's comes down to neuroscience. So if something happens in your life in the past, whether it be your upbringing, your childhood, or just earlier in your adult life, and it's attached to some sort of negative experience where you were yelled at or wronged in some way, or there was some sort of a fight or conflict, some sort of negative experience attached to that thing that now has the brain wired to feel like there's a slight threat. When that happens. So what's happening for you when you're pen clicking is you're feeling a slight threat, or when you hear other people pen clicking, right? It's reminding your brain, right, that this is wrong and not supposed to do it. And there's probably like this younger version of yourself inside of you that's expecting somebody to come in the room and be like, stop doing that to the person who's pen clicking. So it might even just be like bringing up just a very slight fight or flight response where you just feel like a felt sense, like you just feel uncomfortable in your body because you're hearing that pen clicking because it's bringing up stuff from your memories.
But it's so funny though, because, you know, you're sort of explaining the history and the why and the, you know, but in the moment, it's, you know, it's just so subconscious. You're not thinking about any of that. It's just like you're just annoyed by that sound. And
yeah, you're annoyed by the sound because of the feeling that is being triggered in your body because of the fight or flight response, right? So it could be just like I said, like a felt sense. It could be like a tingling in your body, a pressure in your chest, stress in your head. It could be, you know, your breathing quickens. It could be that you get a little tingly, like you become hypervigilant, even if just ever so slightly. But like you said, you don't even know why or where it's coming from. You just feel uncomfortable. And so you now are wired. Every time I hear pen clicking, I feel uncomfortable. And so now whenever I hear the pen clicking, I immediately, without even a thought, just get uncomfortable because I anticipate that I'm going to be uncomfortable. Make sense?
Yeah.
So that being said, why do you hate the word moist?
I don't know.
Like if you think about the history, like why does the word moist make you feel hypervigilant? Like,
it's
why
just
are you
the way it's said? I don't know. And I probably didn't have any kind of response to it until like the internet, and then like people like, ooh, the word moist, and like then they would say it, and then I became like really aware of the fact that I hate that word.
Yeah, so somebody probably said it once, and it probably gave you the yicks. And now you just anticipate that you're going to feel yick. And
but
so you
I don't
feel
anticipate.
yick.
I actually do feel yick.
Yeah.
Like it just said in such a creepy way. It's
Yeah, so you associate it with creepiness.
Yeah.
And creepiness makes you feel creepy.
yeah,
Yeah.
creeped out.
Yeah, creeped out. So for me, I was thinking about it last night, and I was just like, why does it piss me off so much? Like an example is like, and I was telling Jake this last night, my husband, he really likes like to conserve energy, and like he doesn't like when the lights are left on for no reason, because it just like
I should really be with Mark, because John just
Costing
leaves
money.
a trail of lights on everywhere he goes. Every light in the house is on.
yeah. So like our whole relationship, he gets upset when I leave a light on. He always got upset when the kids left lights on or when they left their Xbox on or whatever. Like he would just be like the light Nazi, like walking around, turning lights off. Like I remember once being away with my daughter and like my son calling me at 8 o'clock at night, like screaming and yelling, it's 8 o'clock at night and the entire house is dark. Why do I have to sit in the dark? I'm afraid to leave my room and go down to the kitchen because Mark has every light in the house.
Oh, I'm not that extreme.
He's
But, like, if
sitting
you're
in the
done
living room.
basement, turn the basement light
Right.
off. You're not going back down there. There's no reason for the light to be on until tomorrow when you go down there.
Yeah, Mark like sits in the living room in the dark.
Oh, I'm not that
And
extreme.
the kid, like literally, I'll come home at night and the entire house is dark and Mark is sitting in the living room. And I'm just like, all right, like the dogs can't see their food bowl. Like, what are we doing? So anyway, but this is what bothers me. He leaves the lights on all the time, but doesn't know he leaves the lights on all the time. He just notices like when I leave the lights on. So like we were literally having this conversation last night, and like Mark was like in another part of the house and like didn't hear us having this conversation. And then he went into like the other living room across the other side of the house and turned the light on and went in there for something. And then he came out and went upstairs to bed. And I'm like, see what I mean? He just left the light on in that in the den. But yet, if I leave a light on tomorrow, he's going to be like, you left the light on. And I'm going to be like, you fucking did it last night, dude. So why does this bother me so much? Let's bring it full circle. So I have a memory of babysitting for my brother. I think I might have been like 13 maybe. And so he was like 8.
Oh, little pudgy David.
Yeah, little pudgy David. And my parents went out. It was like a Saturday night. And I had a friend over and my brother had a friend over. And I was probably hanging out in my room and he was probably hanging out in his room and we were both having sleepovers. At some point, I mean, we might have been older. I might have been 15 and he might have been 10. At some point, my brother went down to the kitchen with his friend and scooped out a bowl of ice cream. And they each ate ice cream. And then they took their bowls and put them in the sink. And I was upstairs in my room with my friend. So I did not know that my brother went and ate ice cream because he was old enough where I didn't have to be like, he wasn't like 3. I didn't have to be staring at him. And so I'm sure at some point I probably went down to the kitchen and got a drink, meandered around, but I didn't see the bowls in the sink because I didn't like walk over to the sink and be like, hey, sink, anything in there? Plus I was a kid. My mother came home from wherever.
A kid who knows, though, you don't leave bowls in Sandy's sink.
Oh, my God. So my parents came home at some point. I was so traumatized by this experience that like I still think about it sometimes and get upset. My mother came home. My parents came home. And my mother calls me down to the kitchen. And she's like, I shouldn't have to come home at midnight and find bowls in the sink.
She's not wrong.
Right? Clean your bowl
out.
out.
As a mom now, I totally get that.
Put your bowl in the dishwasher. You know what to do with your bowls. Don't just leave them here for me to have to clean. That's not nice. And I said, those aren't my bowls. As like a 15-year-old would say, right? Well, they're not my bowls. My point was like, I didn't put them there. I didn't leave those for you. Not like I shouldn't have to clean them. Like that's not what I would, but my mother took it that way. And she was just like, I left you in charge. You're the responsible person here. Just because it's not yours doesn't mean that you can't do something nice and say, hey, my mom's going to come home at midnight and be tired. And maybe I should just clean the bowl. I'm supposed to be watching David here. And I was just like, but I didn't know they were there. I can't clean a bowl if I don't know it's there. And my mother just like, that didn't make sense to her. And it didn't make sense to me that it didn't make sense to her. And I got so upset. I started screaming at the top of my lungs. And I was like, how am I supposed to clean a bowl that I don't know is there? It's not like I saw the bowl and was like, I'm not cleaning the bowl. I didn't see the bowl. David didn't tell me he ate ice cream. I didn't know there was a bowl. And I'm freaking out. And I screamed and I was like hyperventilating. And so because of the level, the fight or flight was like really like on a 10. Okay. So I'm hyperventilating and now I faint. Like I literally collapsed on my kitchen floor because I lost my breath. I was like, and I fainted. And then my mother accused me of faking it. And like, I really wasn't faking it. Like I felt it in my body. So anyway, what's the point of my story? This is a long story. The point of my story is that was so traumatizing for me. And it definitely left a mark and an imprint in my brain. My mother, by the way, who God rest her soul, she's no longer with us. In most recent years, I tried to resolve this with her and she had no memory of this happening.
I love things like that. These like really traumatic stories we have as children and like these deep seated beliefs and they have no idea.
And our parents don't remember. Yeah. And and my mother loved the shit out of me and she was a great mother, but like no one's perfect. And so I was just like, Mommy, I have to tell you about this time that this happened. And she was like, I would never do that. And I'm like,
oh, yes, you would.
you did though. And like, I remember it. It really bothers me. And I there's nothing you can do about it now. It was like 100 years ago, but like, I just want to talk about it. And she was like, I didn't do that. I would never do that. And I know that like in her rational brain, and she loved me so much, she probably was thinking like, I would not do that to my child. That's horrible. And she really believed that she didn't do it, but she did. Anyway, point being, it left a mark for me when we talk about neuroscience and we talk about brain wiring, where like, I am so hypervigilant about being corrected. And I think that when someone is telling me I did something wrong, but they do it too, and then I try to kind of say, but like, I want you to understand that I'm not doing it on purpose. Sometimes I forget that the light's on or I don't realize it. You do it too. Therefore, you realize it's not something that we always can control. right? So I try to like be rational and reason with the person. And then when I'm not getting anywhere with them, it brings me right back to that moment. And then I get heated. Like it brings me right back into fight or flight. And I think that's the wiring of my brain, that when someone corrects me, it feels like a slight threat. And I just, without thinking, right, I go right into my emotional brain. I go right into my downstairs brain, not my upstairs brain. And I'm not thinking, I'm not rationalizing. I'm in my emotions and I respond and I just get like, you're correcting me, but you do it too. It's not fair. And it brings me right back to that moment. Sorry, mommy, I love you. Anyway.
Had you given this any thought until last night?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just like one of those things I noticed that like when someone corrects me, I don't mind being corrected if someone's just like trying to give me constructive criticism, like, that's not actually the right way to do that, or you might want to do this. I'm always like grateful, like, thank you, I didn't know that. But like something like where it's like, you leave lights on all the time. And like, I'm like, well, so do you. Like you're correcting, like the injustice of the correction is what it really comes down to. So yeah, knowing knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Knowing is half the battle. And now that I've given myself the time to sit down and reflect and be aware of it, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to be, realize what the danger is. What is the fight or flight that's coming up for me? What's the slight threat? And I'm going to try and ground myself and see if I can shift my brain wiring so I no longer have that automatic response. Let's all do it. Maybe by this time next year, you will enjoy the word moist.
No.
Not a chance.
Nope.
No shot.
Nope.
Okay. Let us know if you change your mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we done with the what? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
How do you feel about correcting people yourself?
I don't like correcting people. It also depends on who I'm correcting. Like if it's somebody that works for me, I worry about correcting because I want to keep good culture. I want my staff to feel seen and validated and supported. I don't want them to feel like I don't appreciate them or that I think they're stupid or that they don't know what they're doing. So I do get uncomfortable criticizing or correcting or telling other people that they're wrong. But depending on who I don't mind telling Mark. Yeah, I don't like correcting my children because I worry, like, are they going to feel bad about themselves? I guess it depends. Yeah, sometimes it feels safe and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. Should we move on to the next question?
Sure.
All right. Pick a good one.
I'm super curious.
Right. So this is one we went over last night that I put a lot of stars next to.
Oh, but you guys already know these. God.
We didn't talk about it.
She wouldn't answer them.
He went down a list of questions and I said, that's a good one, put it on the list. That's a good one, put it on, but we didn't discuss.
It was really annoying because I wanted her to answer them and she wouldn't.
That's why we're here.
Because it would ruin the conversation.
It would, maybe. All right, so first one. Why do humans grieve something they never had?
The loss of the idea of it, the imagined having that, the life you think you were supposed to have, or this ideal. I think why do we grieve? Because it's sad.
Yeah.
But do you need to grieve it, or can you just?
You do. Here's the thing. Like, so I literally had a session with a patient just this week about this. So her mother is older, like I think she's like 90-ish, and she's got dementia, and she's feeling at that stage of life where she's nearing the end. And this was an abusive mom. There's a history there, wasn't really legitimately was a hard life that she had with her mother. She never really felt seen, validated, supported, or loved. And she really doesn't love her mother. And she understands why she doesn't love her mother. And so here she is with her mother. She's in this last stage of life with her mother. And she's saying to me, I feel guilty that I don't feel guilty. And I said, let's explore that. And what came out of the conversation was, I've lived my whole life hoping that my mother would one day become something she's not. And she obviously is never going to become that. You know, it's impossible for her. It's just not who she is. And obviously we're at this stage of life where there's obviously no sign of change happening. She's 90 years old. She has dementia. She's not going to suddenly become the mother that this woman never had. So she never had a good mother, right? So what is she grieving right now? She's really not grieving her mother. She's grieving the idea of having a mother who sees her and loves her and holds space for her and validates her. And so what's happening in this grieving process is, you know, this split, I don't really love my mother, but I love the idea of having a mother who's going to love me. I loved the idea of being hopeful that one day she might change and that one day we might have a better relationship. And so what she's grieving now is, I really have to accept at 60 whatever years old that I'm never going to have the mother that I want. I'm never going to have that relationship, and I have to grieve for that. Sometimes we have people come in who have a child who has a disability and they're grieving.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah. What are they grieving? They're grieving the idea of the child they thought they were going to have, right? When they, you know, set out to start a family, they said, I'm going to have a child and they're going to be just like me and they're going to be really good at sports.
You have a picture in your head of, like you said, going to Girl Scouts, going to sports, you know, going to the prom, them getting married, like that whole, you know, getting a job, all of that. And then to have a child with a severe disability or something and not having to kind of reframe what that family and the rest of their life looks like. So there would be a grief kind of associated with, I'm not going to be able to walk my child down the aisle. They're not going to have that.
Yeah, there's a loss. The loss is, I really wanted something. I dreamed about having grandchildren one day. I dreamed about my child's college graduation. I dreamed about, you know, being best friends with my daughter and going shopping and going to the mall. And, you know, she hates me. You know, whatever it is, I really wanted something, and now I have to grieve the loss of the hope, the idea, the plan, the dream, right? And it can be something as simple as like a vacation. Somebody plans to take a really great trip to Italy, and they get there and they get the flu. And then they spend, you know, the 6 days that they had planned to be there lying in bed with a fever, and now it's time to go home and they can't take another week off from work. They have to go back. They're devastated. What is that devastation? Right? They're grieving the loss of the vacation they didn't get.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, having just been in Italy with my father, he had bronchitis for half the trip.
Oh my gosh. Really?
That's funny.
Oh, poor Peter.
He made it work.
Yeah. So we didn't have to
You only
grieve.
need one lung.
Right. I guess that's true. Yeah. Makes sense. You satisfied with the answer?
Seems good enough to me.
All right.
Ready for the next one?
Next.
We'll go with a more fun one.
Fun.
Ooh.
Fun. Why do people carry responsibilities that no one asked them to hold?
That is not fun.
Good fun to me.
Why do you find it fun?
Yeah, how is that fun to you?
Tell us your thoughts.
Well, in general, I think the deeper the question is more fun.
Okay.
And so
it's fun because you're interested to learn about it and you find it fascinating?
yeah, it's fascinating because I think of just responsibilities that I carry that there's no reason that they're not my responsibilities.
Want to give us an example?
Sure. So
let's analyze Jake.
Sounds fun. So I think it's my responsibility to be the stable one in my immediate family, as far as my sister, father, and mother, who don't listen to this. So,
Ouch.
Yeah, I know.
Ouch.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but that's why I can talk about them.
So I won't send them this link to this episode.
You can send them. They're probably still not going to listen.
They won't
to
listen.
It.
So, but I feel that I need to be the stable one because all of them have my own perceived issues that they have.
Right. So no one in your family, just to clarify, no one in your family said, Jake, we need you to be stronger. We need you to do this. We need you to do that. You've put that on yourself.
Yeah.
And the last thing you said was you have given them all a thing. You've given them all a something. And so you feel like you have to be the stable one because of these things that you feel they have.
Yeah, because they all come to me with my father comes to me with this, my sister comes to me with this, my mom comes to me with this.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I don't need to go to them for anything really. But independently, they all come to me.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that they do,
Mm-hmm.
but they do.
So what do you think carrying the responsibility, right? Because this could go in different ways, right? Any individual in these shoes can take different paths.
Yeah.
You have chosen the path of being responsible. So when we talk about secondary gains, right? We look at a behavior, we look at something that we do, and we're curious about it. Like, why do I do that? We ask ourselves, what do I gain by doing it? So if you ask yourself, what do I gain by doing this? How does this help me? What comes to mind?
I think the immediate thing is I don't have to be the one to go to somebody. I like being the one that people go to.
Okay.
And so that makes me feel better.
So next question.
Okay. Scary.
Why? It's not scary. It's all good. I won't go too deep. Why do you think it is that you wouldn't want to have to go to somebody?
Because I don't want to be like them.
Dun, dun, dun.
What would happen if you did have to go to somebody when you were growing up in your family?
I probably wouldn't get the answer I want.
Right. So was it safe to go to somebody? Was there someone to go to for the things you needed growing up?
Not especially.
Okay.
The one person who I used to talk to was I would email my grandma, Ruth. And
That's my grandma too.
and so I would email her and she would then email my parents on my behalf and it would work out.
Because they would listen to her because she was the Mima.
Yeah.
She was the grandma. Right. So what I'm hearing is there's a couple of different elements here. One being it wasn't really safe to go and ask for what I needed because I wasn't going to get it. So then you would have to deal with disappointment, frustration, right? All these things that don't feel good, right? It's distress. If I go to my mom or I go to my dad and I say I need this or that, and then they're not able to give it to me or they don't understand it or they don't validate it, I'm going to now feel things that don't feel good.
Yeah.
Right. And then what? Then who do I go to with those feelings? Nobody. So there's that. And the other element is you see them in a certain way and you say, I don't want that for myself because that doesn't feel like a life that would make me happy. It feels scary.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to have my mom's issues. I don't want to have my dad's issues. I don't want to have my sister's issues.
Yeah.
And so if I don't show up with the needs that they show up with, then I won't have the problems that they have. Right. So
that's my theory, at least.
Yeah. So there's two different things there, right? And so again, it all comes down to safety. I'm safer if I can meet my own needs so I don't have to be disappointed and so I don't show up like them and then have to suffer the same issues and problems in their lives that they're suffering with.
Yeah.
Right? It put you in a place of control.
Yeah. I'd rather be in control.
Yeah. Makes sense.
OCD.
And I'm just
OCD,
thinking
yes.
control, like when you ask, why do we take on certain responsibilities? And I'm kind of thinking about certain things I've taken on at work that weren't necessarily asked of me, but I took them on. And because I want them done, they should be done a certain way. And that's my control. You know, they need to be done the way I do them. No, you can't change the formatting of this. This is the way I do it. This is how it gets done.
So what is it like for you when it doesn't get done the right way?
Oh, it makes me crazy.
Right. So you're trying to protect yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't want to have feelings that are uncomfortable for me. And so therefore I want to control what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to have feelings about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. So there's your secondary gain.
Yeah. And I'm comfortable, knowing things get done and get done right. I don't have to go back and redo them. Yep. But it's a control issue.
Yeah.
And I can go into that. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was just going to give my example, but go ahead. You can
I was
talk.
going to say with work, flying work. And one thing as the captain, we both take turns flying. Even though I'm the captain, both of us fly the plane. So I'll fly one way, they'll fly the other way. And there's procedures we follow. That's you have to do steps 1 through 10. There's no deviating from that. But you can do steps 1 through 10 in your own technique. And one thing that you have to learn when you become the captain is to let someone else do it their way. As long as you don't leave the safety margins, there's techniques to do steps 1 through 10. And that is very difficult to watch sometimes. You're just sitting there, just all antsy, just like, okay,
Why
I
are
want
they
to do
not
it this
doing this the
like,
way
I'd rather you do it this way, but you have to sit there, and that is probably been very helpful for me to sit there and watch it.
Learning how to tolerate distress.
And so, it's been helpful learning that.
Yeah, because you're showing yourself that you can and that you can be safe. So you're rewiring your brain.
Yeah.
It's fascinating stuff.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool. It's so cool. So the responsibility I've given myself in life, the role I take on is that I have to hold everyone's emotions and make sure that everybody is okay and that no one ever gets sad. And that definitely comes from being a child, watching my parents grieve the loss of their child. And I think that for me, it was so scary and painful to see their pain that I felt like if I could make them happy and make everything okay as much as possible to help people ever avoid having to be in distress, then I will be safe. And so the young, ripe age of 3, decided this is my job. And so that's what I've spent a lot of my life doing. And so that's why I think for my children, when they were growing up, I had a very hard time saying no to them. I wanted to protect them. I wanted them to never be sad or never be frustrated, which we know isn't healthy. But I did it anyway because I couldn't tolerate their sadness or their distress and all the things. So that's the responsibility I put on myself that no one asked me for, by the way.
Did you feel that way with David growing up?
Yes. Yeah, I was very protective of him.
Was he aware of that himself growing up, or?
Probably, if you would ask him, he probably remembers that like I used to sit and teach him things and play with him. And there was an incident in middle school where like some kids were being mean to him. So I like rallied up a whole army of people and we went to the middle school, and I'm, 5 years older than my brother. So but he skipped a grade. So I was 4 grades ahead of him. So like if he was in 8th grade, I was a senior.
Right.
So like we were like the seniors. Do you remember this?
Yes.
We were like the seniors showing up at the middle school, threatening a bunch of 14-year-olds. Right. And so like the guys that we used to hang out with in high school were like part of our fraternity. I don't understand fraternities in high school, but it was a thing. So they were in a fraternity. So the kids in the middle school were afraid of the high school kids that were in this fraternity because they were like scary, I guess. I don't know.
Well, they're 4 years older. I mean, it was a whole different time too.
Yeah. So they were, they had a t-shirt. So they all put their t-shirt on. Remember this? And we showed up at the middle school at the end of the day when the kids were getting on the bus. And so like the one kid that was like the ringleader of being shitty to my brother gets on the bus. And so we all run over to the bus, and the kid is on the bus, and we're like waving at him, pointing to him. And I still can see his little face, this poor little kid. He's looking out his name was Chris. Chris looks out the window and he looks at us, and I'm standing there with all these guys with their Omega shirts, and they go like this. And the kid's like, it worked. They left my brother alone.
Perfect.
And I'm sure he remembers that. Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, nobody's fucking with my brother but me. So
pretty funny.
Good times. Next.
All right.
Moving on.
All right. So, why do humans bond through shared pain more than shared joy?
It's a good one.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's more, I don't want to say more emotion, but I think finding someone who can sort of share your pain is unique. Like, you look at it like a support group for parents who've lost children. And I think no one can understand like the loss of a child, like another parent who's lost a child, versus like, a support group for people who got balloons on their birthday kind of thing. It's not the same level of kind of emotion and that connection, if that makes sense.
So a more intense emotion.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, right? We're talking about like the importance that we place on certain emotions and the need that derives from it, right? So what pops into my head is I remember reading a couple of months ago this study that, and I don't remember where it came from, but I remember it said that if somebody insults you and it hurts your feelings, you'll remember that for 20 years.
Yeah.
But if somebody pays you a compliment, you'll forget within like 3 to 4 days or 3 to 5 days it was. And the reason being is because we are wired to protect ourselves, right? Our fight or flight response is very sensitive. And the whole purpose of it is to keep ourselves safe. So, we are animals and it's instinctual to want to be safe. And so if you're looking at it through that lens, when we have joy, there's no threat. There's nothing to be safe from when we're, getting balloons or when we're celebrating our birthday or when we're, skipping through Disney World, eating, chocolate Mickey Pops, right? It's fun and it's joyful and it's amazing, but there's no threat. There's no fight or flight response. So I think our brain doesn't mark it as urgent.
And I'm just thinking of what kind of collection of positive emotion is there to like even compare it to?
There's lots of positive emotions.
I think like a wedding.
Okay.
That'd be a really big one.
A collective happy experience.
And there's a lot of people there to join in on that, I'd imagine.
Yeah, fun vacation, a wedding, a graduation.
Okay.
Right? So we go through these joyful things together. And we might, but like, where's the bond? It's just like you are having a good, positive experience. There's no threat. We're not, it's not getting wired into our brain as something that we need to hold on to in order to protect ourselves. So we move from that experience feeling positive and regulated and safe. And so it exists in our memories. We can recall it if we want to, but it doesn't get etched into it doesn't get stuck in like our neural networks as like something that we have to resolve. And if it's something painful, there's a need there. I need validation. I need to be seen, right? Like you mentioned, the people who lose a child, they're looking for someone to get it. They're looking for someone to validate because they're suffering. They're in pain. They're looking for relief. They're looking for connection. They're looking to feel better. They're looking for somebody who's been through it to say, look, I'm doing okay. You're going to do okay too. And they bond in the pain because there's a need for survival. I think it all comes down to survival, right? And joy. And this is one of the things that as therapists, we try to teach our patients and we argue about is that our positive experiences are just as important as our negative experiences, but our brain doesn't, stamp like I picture like when we're like opening mail and we're like sorting through things and we're like stamping things as urgent or important. It's like, oh, this is something good. It just goes over here and this is good pile. I don't need to do anything with it. But this is terrible news. I need to mark it as urgent and keep it over here and do something with it. Otherwise, something bad's going to happen.
Well, I think that's the point too. Like, the joyful experiences, the wedding, those positive, the balloons, you're not necessarily doing anything with that versus the loss of a child or even, I'm thinking like 12-step and self-help and recovery. Like, those are kind of bonds and connections over more negative experiences. And you're looking to do something. You're looking to stop drinking. You're looking to be able to get out of bed without crying every day. You're looking, to make a change and no one, that kind of feeling that no one's going to be able to get you like someone else that's gone through it. Like, so you're looking to get out of that and to do something versus just to be in the happiness of the wedding or the graduation or the celebration of the balloons.
Yeah, exactly. Got any thoughts?
No, it all tracks with me. I think one of the things I thought of is say a traumatic event happens to a newborn. I remember you telling me that's something that imprints in their entire nervous system. It's not just their brain, their whole nervous system. It imprints on them.
Yeah.
Whereas with a newborn, a joyful event is never remembered. And so that's what I think of and how it works.
Well, you know what? You can look at from the perspective of an infant, and it's a good question. It's a good, topic to bring up is, there was always controversy, over the years on when a child is crying in their crib, whether you should go to that child and pick them up and soothe them and stop them from crying, or if you should leave them there and let them cry. because, a lot of people would say, let them cry so that they learn to soothe themselves, or so that they learn that that doesn't get them the attention they're looking for. And I remember, being like, that doesn't sound right to me. I feel like what we're teaching our child is don't bother asking, no one's coming, and they're going to grow up to be very anxious. And I remember at the time when I had babies, I was met with a lot of argument about that. And now studies actually show that it is harmful to leave a baby crying in their crib, because they are learning exactly what I said, that no one is coming, don't bother, that you're not safe. And that gets etched in their nervous system. But on the flip side, if they start crying and the caretaker comes and gets them and holds them and soothes them and rocks them and caresses them and gives them the food that they need and just helps them feel safe, they are having a joyful, positive experience. I'm safe in this world. When I express myself in the only way I know how, somebody will come. I am safe. And they're creating these connections and these bonds, and they are actually creating neural pathways in their brains that show them that you should advocate for yourself. You should ask for help. You should express yourself. There are ways to get your needs met. You should soothe yourself, as opposed to don't bother trying. Your needs are not going to get met if you speak up. No one's coming. Right. And so if you want to look at it from the level of joy or pain, right, that child is learning and their brain is getting wired, and it is going to affect their future, hypervigilance, their future fight or flight response, their future personality. Are they going to be an anxious person, or are they going to be a grounded person who feels safe and confident? And they found studies where parents who came to their children and soothed their children and didn't let their children cry in the crib were more confident. And the kids that were left and neglected in that way, even because of good intentions and because they thought it was the right thing to do, those kids were lacking in confidence, were shyer and more anxious. So, that if you look at it from the perspective of happiness or and joy or, pain, that happiness and joy is actually being imprinted in the nervous system also.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got. Okay.
You like this
smiling.
one?
Uh-oh.
It's not that. This one's not that crazy.
Not that crazy.
No, it's not. So
it's like when Matt told me I didn't look that bad. Go ahead.
Why do people stay up late even when they are exhausted?
Oh. FOMO?
That's my initial thoughts. You spent your whole day doing something that's not what you wanted to do, perhaps. You need your personal time, even if it's at the risk of not getting as much sleep.
Yeah.
But there's compromises to that, because a good amount of sleep is also healthy for you.
I guess we're making choices, right? Like, what's more important to me? Is
Doom
it
scrolling or getting sleep?
Is it more important to me to have my downtime and to enjoy my time to just sit and reflect and regulate and do things I enjoy, watch my favorite Netflix show, or, read my favorite book, or scroll on my favorite social media? Or do I want to get a good night's sleep and not be tired in the morning? I think for some people it's hard to delay instant gratification. It's so gratifying to just sit and have your time to yourself after a crazy day at work, just having all these demands on you and all the have-tos, right? I have to get this done. I have to get that done. I have to, there's a deadline. There's an assignment due. There's a plane to fly. There's a kid who has homework and dinner to cook and a dishwasher to load the right way and all the things.
Yeah, after my moist pet peeve, I was like, damn it, I didn't use the loading the dishwasher incorrectly.
That's a thing.
Wasn't that in one of the episodes?
It was. Yeah, she's got a thing about dishwashers. But anyway, moving along.
Scientific. There's a right way to do it.
Right. And for some of us, that's important. And for some of us, I don't know what the right way to load a dishwasher is. And I probably would screw it up anyway. And that's okay.
And I'll correct you.
Like new dishwashers actually come with a manual and show you the way you should put the plates and the bowls in them.
They do.
Yeah.
It's too much work. I'm busy. Speaking of busy, right? And so people really do. I mean, science shows people really need their time off at night, whether they work a night shift and they need their time during the day, they work during the day and they need their time at night. We need, right, to kind of just, sit and be and allow ourselves to kind of just connect with our identity, connect with the things we enjoy, connect with the things that bring us happiness and joy, right? The things that make us feel good, right? Sometimes I just want to sit on the couch and stare at the wall. Like sometimes like Mark is out and like he'll come home and he'll like come into the living room and I'm just sitting on like, you have sometimes come in and
just sitting with your thoughts.
I'm literally just sitting on the couch in silence. Like I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting there. The TV's not on, right? I'm literally just sitting. I just enjoy sitting because there's so much going on during the day. And that's how my brain just like, it's like I need that. Like I'm just rewiring, I'm replenishing, I'm sitting. And like last night, we were up pretty late.
Yeah.
Right? It was like 1:00 in the morning. And like I knew I had to get up early, but like I just like was enjoying because I had such a crazy, crazy busy week. There was a lot this week going on, a lot. And so I really needed to just be, even though I knew that meant I wasn't going to get as much sleep as I needed. But I also feel like it's that instant gratification. Like tomorrow morning, being tired is tomorrow morning. Right now this feels good. Any thoughts?
No. Yes, I did.
Go for it.
Now I can't remember them. But I am thinking, I mean, part of it is kind of control. Like during the day, I have to do things for my boss and I come home and I have to do things for my family. So when all of that's done, I want to do something for me. And whether it's like scrolling on Instagram or watching something on Netflix, whatever, like that's my me time. Like it's sort of my reward for doing things for other people during the day. But I think there's also like a dopamine hit that comes with like, I'm only going to watch 2 episodes tonight, go to bed at 11, but then you're 5 deep and it's 1 a.m. because, it's something you enjoy. And you're like, I can deal with being tired tomorrow. Right now, I'm really enjoying this. And I want this good feeling to continue. I want to see what happens next.
So that's like a big thing of my job. So when I'm gone, say 5 days at a time, I'm from hotel room to hotel room. And a lot of the times we have our mandated min rest. So with the airlines, they give you 10 hours of rest, which guarantees, in theory, 8 hours behind closed doors. So you have to get your 8 hours of rest. Otherwise, you're considered not safe. And then you shouldn't be flying. So I like to stay up late when I'm home because I'm taking back what I couldn't do at the hotel rooms. Because 5 days in a row, I had to get to the hotel, change, put my uniform up, take a shower, try and get food, and immediately go to bed. So I never took any time to myself. I worked all day. Now I'm resting. Now I got to go do it again at 4 a.m. the next day.
Yeah, it's tough.
And so a lot of times when I get home from work, I'll go sit in the house and I'll just go sit on the couch and just do nothing. And I like to stay up as late as I can when I'm off. And it gives me something back. At least that's how I feel.
Yeah, it's like a gift you're giving yourself. And again, it brings it back to what you were saying about dopamine, right? It's probably something that feels very rewarding and satisfying about really taking back that control. You're giving yourself a gift.
Yeah.
Right? I think dopamine probably plays a big role in it, right? There's a lot of, feel good in being able to trigger that chemical in your brain, right? Just the reward of, I don't have to do anything right now. I can do exactly what I want and no one is asking anything of me. The kids are in bed or the boss is not here or there's nothing due and there's nothing expected of me. And I just want to really just exercise my control and my autonomy over myself. That feels really good.
And it's so interesting though. We're such a people of, not postponing consequences too. Like, I know I'm going to be tired. I know I'm going to look like hell tomorrow, but I want to continue doing this right now.
Yeah.
Because it's rewarding. It feels good. Later is later, right? Yeah. I'm in the now and I'm feeling really gratified, especially for releasing dopamine, like you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Stay up late, everybody.
No, go to sleep.
No, stay up late. I'd rather stay up late and be tired than
if you don't stay up late, you don't get good questions to ask.
That's true.
You want another one?
Yes.
Sure.
We got time for one more?
Yeah, we've got a few more minutes.
Do you want A or B?
B. Okay, A.
No. B. No, it's too late. You can't go back now.
Oh, no.
Why do people apologize when they cry?
That's a good one.
No, it's not.
Well, do you want A?
You don't like that one?
What's A?
We can do A.
Let's see what A is.
can do A.
I'll answer that one real quick.
All right, we'll do it quick.
And then we'll do A.
You don't want to be a burden to someone. You don't want to feel like you don't want to be dumping on them.
You feel like you're dumping because it all comes down to projection.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like how you feel when you're crying. And it's hard sometimes to separate what you're feeling from what the other person in the room is feeling. And so we automatically assume that whatever we are feeling, they're feeling. And so when we cry, we feel like they're uncomfortable because we're uncomfortable, right? How is it possible that I could be so uncomfortable and they're not? And so you feel bad or ashamed or guilty or uncomfortable with the idea that you've made another person uncomfortable. And the reason you think they're uncomfortable is because you are and you're projecting and you don't know it. All right, what was A?
All right. Great answer.
Anyone got anything to say about that?
No.
No, I think that's it. Like, I feel like, there are certain circumstances, like when I'm crying, I feel like it's a burden to someone. Like I'm crying and it's making everything super awkward. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd rather cry in private if I had. So.
I cry like 400 times a day. Everything makes me cry. I'm surprised I don't cry more doing this. And so I can't apologize for crying. Like I just accept that it's just something that's going to happen like unannounced periodically throughout the day. So I just like go with it. I'm just
You're
like,
way in touch with your emotions.
I think that I'm just a baby. I think that
I'm super sensitive.
I'm super sensitive because I had a trauma when I was 3. And so that's how I process things. And so I think it's just very somatic because crying is somatic. It's your body releasing, your body's way of releasing an emotion. Mm-hmm. And I think that I just am very in my body. I think that I experience things somatically. And so that's why I cry.
Yeah, you're an empath.
I feel it in my body instead of thinking it intellectually in my brain. I do think it intellectually in my brain after the fact. It starts in my body and then it lands in my brain. And that's why I cry all the time. But next. That was A. I'm going to make sure we have time for A.
All right.
What was A?
It's genuinely a fun one. Not joking aside. So, in the celebrity world.
Ooh.
Why do people form teams in celebrity feuds like it's a sporting event, such as Team Selena or Team Haley?
Give me another example. I have zero attachment to that.
Okay.
Do you know who they are?
Do you know who they are?
Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber.
Yeah, but I've got no investment in that.
Do you have an investment in any celebrities who are feuding?
I need a celebrity feud that I can get behind more.
So that you can understand it?
Yeah.
Is there one that you can think of?
No. Well, I mean, I think the fact that we all kind of identify and, are so impacted by celebrities is kind of fascinating. Like, there are these people living in this complete other world that have zero impact on us. And like, we're yet like, kind of aligning with them and getting behind them. Like, even that's just so weird. The whole celebrity obsession.
I think it's gotten deeper because of technology and social media. I think people today feel so much more connected to celebrities than when we were growing up because they can watch them post things and post videos and you see them in their houses. You know what I mean? Like, remember like a year or so ago, there was like a post from Drew Barrymore, and in the post you can see her television in the background. Do you remember this?
No.
Do you remember this?
No.
What was she watching?
Oh my God. It wasn't what she was watching. It was that her living room was so simple and plain. And she just had like this lame little television on some like little like stand. Like she looked like a not very wealthy person living in some like lame little apartment with like some like schlocky little TV on a stand. The internet went crazy. They couldn't believe what Drew Barrymore's living room looked like. Anyway, I'm going off track. My point is, we know so much about celebrities. We know what they're doing every day. We know what their houses look like. We see their families. We see them interact with their families. We see them celebrating their kids' birthdays. We see them going on vacation with their boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever. So we feel like we know them. Mm-hmm. Even more today than we did growing up, right?
Like, it was just People magazine.
Right. Like, or watching an interview. Like, I remember when I was growing up and I was obsessed with Bon Jovi. Like, if I knew that there was going to be an interview, I would tape it so that I wouldn't miss it. And then I would come home and I would watch the interview because it gave me an opportunity to get to know John Bon Jovi better. I needed to know him better. You know, like, when's his birthday? What's his favorite color? Why did he get started? Why is his hair long? What's his dad like? What's his mom like? And like being able to get closer to them felt so satisfying, but you had such little opportunities to do that.
But I think, going back to the question of like taking sides in like a feud, I think it's, it says something about who you are and what you stand for, like, which one you're siding on. And I can't think of Celebrity Feud, but I'm just, the first thing that comes to my mind now is 90210, where you like, Dylan or Brandon. And like, what did it mean if you, were rooting for Brandon or for Dylan to be with Kelly?
That reminds me of the big one, Twilight. Which side are you on? And so that, not necessarily a feud, but you're still, same concept, aligning with a celebrity because of this XYZ reason.
Yeah.
And now everyone knows you are this XYZ reason.
Yeah. And I know that went on with Friends also, where there was like people that wanted Rachel and Ross to end up together, and then people that wanted Rachel and Joey to end up together. And people get so invested in it. It really just comes down to, what do they represent for you? Why do you feel so connected to this person? And what do they represent for you? What is the cause here? Like if we're going to go and look at like Selena and Hailey, why do you think it is that people want to support Selena Gomez so much?
I have no clue.
She got wronged.
I think.
It speaks. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go.
No.
I was going to say, I think a lot of people see her as more of a normal, down to earth person from a lot of what I've read. And
we know more about her because she puts herself out there.
She's a lot more open. Yeah, she does a lot of like live streams and just speaks a lot that way. Whereas on the other end, it would seem that Hailey is more of a just celebrity in itself and doesn't come down to the normal person.
I think that Selena Gomez has been public about the whole ride from the day that her and Justin Bieber broke up until the present. I think that she's made everybody very aware of how she's feeling in real time. And there's mental illness there too, right? She's come out as saying she's bipolar, I think. Or is it borderline? I don't know. I can't remember, but she's been very open and honest about her mental health struggles. And she is raw and she is out there, and it's all the feelings. And we've watched her go on and off medication and gain weight and lose weight and be okay and not be okay. And I think for some people, they really appreciate that and it resonates for them. Even if they don't have the same struggles, they understand struggle. It really, really resonates for them, and they understand the pain of that relationship roller coaster and the breakup. And, whatever it was that Hailey Bieber did when she started dating Justin, I don't really know because I don't know that much about it. I think that people just feel like that she's somebody who didn't get Selena, or that she wasn't validating of Selena, or that she wasn't, or that Justin wasn't, or that as a unit, Justin and Hailey are, not understanding of Selena's, journey, and they feel protective of her. And then there are the people that are just like, Selena's issues are not Justin and Hailey's responsibility. And it might resonate more for them to be like, I don't want to be responsible for somebody else's stuff. I'm sorry that Selena's having a hard time getting over that breakup and that she's got all these struggles and that sucks. But is that Justin's responsibility? Is that Hailey's responsibility? Or don't they have a right to move on with their lives and be happy and not be responsible for Selena? So, not making it about them, but just to use it as an example, I think that when you find yourself really drawn into the drama of somebody else's life that you don't really know, you want to really be curious about yourself. What's coming up for me?
Kicking something up in you, whether, identifying with one party or the other.
It doesn't have to be a celebrity. It's a lot of people, say on Facebook, watching two people argue and reading the comments and picking a side in the comments.
I do love that, though.
It's fun to read, isn't it?
I love a good...
It's like I love going into that and seeing, and I pick my own side. It's like, yeah, this person's right, clearly.
Yep.
Yeah, it does something for you. It validates something for you. And I think that's why we see such a polarized society right now, especially in politics, right? Whatever side you're on, you are feeling validated. And I think, when we've talked about this in other podcasts, the need for acceptance And the need to be part of a team and part of a group is tribal. It's part of our need for survival
and community
and safety. We are social, despite, where we're at right now in the world with technology and Zooms and meets and all the things. We are social animals. We are supposed to connect and interact with other human beings. We are supposed to be around other people all the time, and we are supposed to connect our energies with others. And so we are always looking for our tribe, right? Am I in the Selena tribe, or am I in the Haley tribe? Am I in the Democrat tribe or the Republican tribe? Am I in the,
Brandon or Dylan,
right? Brandon or Dylan, right? Or Joey or Ross, like what tribe am I in? And there's something I think gratifying, satisfying, and it gives us a sense of safety to feel like you're on a team somehow. And I think also that's why I like sports, or the episode we did about Star Wars, right? Being part of fandom, being part of a big universe. I think that we just are drawn to opportunities
to be connected to other people, to know that you share that similar interest or have that same belief about something.
To be a part of something, to be validated in our interests or in our struggles or in our pain, right? We talked before about connecting in pain. I think sometimes picking a celebrity's side gives us an opportunity to connect in pain.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if someone's going through something, right? Look at all the people who get it. It's so satisfying. Are you satisfied with our answers today, Jake?
Yeah, I think you did better than chat.
Yay! I dare all of you to go out there and ask all these questions to ChatGPT and see if the responses you get are as satisfying as the ones you got from us humans.
I might need to do that. I'd be curious to see what some of the answers are.
Yeah.
They don't have Stacy stories about her brother, though.
Right, or my mom, or my dishes in the sink, or you and your dishwasher.
I remember getting yelled at when she was making brisket. She asked me to cut it. And
my mother?
Yeah. She asked me to cut the brisket for her. And I splattered some of the sauce
onto
this. And it was
her white kitchen?
Yes. And that was a bad time.
It's a miracle that she even allowed the cooking of the brisket to happen in her kitchen, because making messes. I wasn't allowed to make shrinky dinks when I was little because we would have to use the stove.
I went over there. We were going to wash our cars once, and she went running, like looking for a hose and soap, and she went running out with money and was like, "Here, go to the car wash. You're not washing the car here," because she's like, "I'm going to have to clean it up, and you're going to be tracking water in the house and the bucket and the hose." And nope, didn't want it. Go to the car wash. Here's money.
Can we back up? What's a shrinky dink?
Oh, you're young. You would color them. They were plastic. They were toxic, and you would put them in the oven, and they would shrink up and
get hard. And then you can make a little necklace out of it. It would be like a charm. Or something.
Cool.
Yeah. So my daughter had like a million shrinky dinks. I shrinky dink the hell out of her because I wasn't allowed to have them. But my mother didn't want to dirty a pan. And they didn't get dirty. It was just plastic shrinking. She didn't want to dirty a pan and have to turn the oven on. My mommy. She was such a lovely person with issues though.
They all are. We all are.
Poor mama. But all right. So I think we did a good job.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. That was a fun episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bunch of different topics.
I hope you learned something about people and yourself today. And this was helpful for all of you out there watching and listening. So we'll wrap up.
Okay.
No less thoughts or questions. We're all good. We're ready to say goodbye.
We're ready to say goodbye.
All right.
Jake, thank you for being with us.
And thank you. It was fun.
Thank you for finding these great questions.
I got 30 more.
Oh, we'll have to do this again in a couple of months, maybe part 2. So thank you for coming, and thank you for listening and being here. You guys know the drill. Please subscribe so that you can know when new episodes come out. Share our podcast with other people if you find it interesting or humorous or fun or, informative. Let other people know we're here.
Yeah.
And you can see us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple or Spotify or iHeartRadio, anywhere where you can listen to podcasts.
And you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And is that it?
I think so.
Okay.
You can find us in all the places.
Yeah, just not the TikTok.
Yeah, so
We're
that's
working on it.
Subscribe, like, share, and that's it. So we are excited to see you next time. And I am Stacy.
And I'm Heather.
And this is Jake. And we are Why Do People Do That? See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Why Do People Do That is recorded and produced by Press Record Studios.